don't we?
Yes.
You know, it's strange how we're still young people and yet we go so way back.
They wouldn't believe our age, right?
No.
Oh gosh, I'm telling you, I'm telling you. Yes, yes. As I said, this is our Irish chat, where I like to do something live every Saturday with someone in, anywhere in the world they are. We can bring you in live, talk about the issues that are affecting us here and abroad.
Oh,
Which
the digital age has really opened up so many possibilities, hasn't it, Dreamy?
Oh, it sure has. It sure has. You don't have to be in a studio. You don't have to be with the person to talk to them anywhere. It's just amazing.
Amazing, amazing.
Yeah, I'd like
And
to.
of course, it has implications for music industry.
Oh, it sure does. It sure does. I saw your blog. I get your blog regularly, and tell us. Well, first of all, let's talk a little about Charles Campbell.
I don't usually talk much about Charles Campbell because sometimes it gets in the way of the focus I have on the entertainment industry. But I guess in summary, I would have to say that Charles Campbell is a uh, failed musician that went into the organizational side of the business,
Okay.
and I have focused on producing events, promoting events. I worked in the Ministry of Culture from 1977 to 1981 when it was still a part of the office of the Prime Minister. And it was a very profound time, important time for the industry in the sense that it didn't have a lot of big private sector money investing in the industry at the time. So a lot of the major events then were produced by the government through the office of the Prime Minister. And so I think from the early days when the music was growing into an international phenomenon, I played a signal role. I then moved on to Reggae Sunsplash and became the director of operations from 1984 to 1994, as you remember, I'm sure.
Yes, yes, that's when I met you.
Yes. Since
Yes.
then, I have been um, involved in developing security standards for the business, promoting my own events. One of the most popular of which is Rockaway, which is a blend of live music and dancing. I've tried to bring back that old party vibe
Okay.
versus dance or stage show. And for the last 5 years, I have been the head of the Reggae Month Committee, which has been staging, Jeria has been staging Reggae Month activities every February since 2009.
Okay.
And of course, I'm a journalist. I see myself more as a writer than a journalist, really.
Okay.
And
Okay.
so I write a column in the Observer called Groundings, and I do a blog called Groundings.
Right, right. That's
That's my life in summary.
okay, yes, man. I remember those days at Reggae Sunsplash, man. We used to just get what, 1 hour sleep? Look a nap?
Yeah. Don't you want to know how we did that?
Oh, we did all of that, man. It was just amazing. You know.
Wow. It
And you
was like at least 8 days non-stop with stop as they say, maybe with an hour's sleep each day.
yeah, you just get
Where
look up.
did we get all that energy?
And we didn't have no Red Bull or anything like that to keep us up, right?
No.
I'm telling you, I'm telling you. It was great. It was great.
But dreaming now we have seen this music grow into such a phenomenon worldwide.
Hmm.
It is really sad that while this has been happening, we haven't been putting in place legislation to level the playing field, to provide incentives so we can get private sector investment because Jamaica has fallen behind in terms of the share of the market internationally.
But if you don't mind sharp, Jamaica might lose it because, you know, I've been advocating over the past years, close to 10 years now, how come Jamaica don't register the word reggae? I mean,
Yeah,
as you know, Trinidad lost the the steel pan.
yeah,
You know, somebody else registered it in the United States that they made it.
yeah.
Now, in the next couple of years, somebody from Japan can come and say, "Boy, is we create reggae music?" What's
Yeah,
going on with
I
that?
mean, already I am hearing that reggae is an African music, and I'm hearing that sound system started in England. So we really better be very, very careful. Um, but there is agitation currently in Jamaica, led by us in the Jamaica Reggae Industry Association, frankly supported strongly by the Jamaica Intellectual Property Office, to register Jamaican reggae because we have waited too long. And so now we are being told that reggae is a generic word.
Uh,
So we can't just register reggae anymore, but we can still register that Jamaican reggae brand.
Jamaican reggae when reggae is Jamaican.
Uh, it's now a generic term for a worldwide music genre. We have missed the boat there, unfortunately.
Oh boy, that is so sad though.
It's sad in one sense. Yes, yes, it is sad. However, there is a flip side to that, and sometimes you have to look for the positive. The fact that we have created this music and it has stood the test of time and its influence continues to grow gives us the platform using our competitive advantage, meaning that brand, that Jamaican reggae brand, is still second to none. That vibe that our musicians give, that we have at our live events,
Hmm.
can't be replicated anywhere in the world. Now we really need to turn that into substantially increasing the contribution to Jamaica's gross national product. And the way to do it, as you have been alluding to, is to protect our intellectual property and and to go into publishing. Look, there are two things that are earning income for the music industry now: touring and publishing.
Okay.
And we now need to look at how we can maximize on our competitive advantage in those areas. I am one of those who believe that Jamaica should have concert halls in every parish so that we can stage events at a
Anyway,
world standard.
right.
So
Anywhere.
that when bring visitors to Jamaica to see our artists, they can see them performing at an international standard and using the media platforms. We can be streaming, broadcasting live. I mean,
Exactly.
what a different world, Jimmy. We
Exactly.
can sit right here and reach to 300 million people.
Exactly. Right. It's amazing that it's this is something. This is the way of the future, and people are just so, I said, lazy or lack to adapt to it so easily. Right now we have one of our ardent listener, Flocka Doves. She's in London. You know, and she listens to us just before she goes to bed. you
There
know,
you go. There
So
you go.
it's what we have people from Germany, from Spain, from Venezuela, at, maybe even in the Amazon. Who knows?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
reggae
No, you're
music.
on the cutting edge here.
Yeah.
And Jamaica, we need to learn from what you are doing.
Well, I'm glad you said that because it's hard to sell because it's new. and people, yeah, don't want to adapt. They don't want to change. You know,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
they have to do that.
But this medium gives you so much more flexibility, and the input costs, the overheads that we used to have to, for instance, record a reggae sunsplash.
Oh yes.
I mean, today it's a fraction of that infrastructure that is required, and therefore costs are
Right.
much lower in order to get the thing done.
And
I mean, this digital age, rather than it being seen as an albatross, we need to be exploiting the advantages that come with it.
oh, of course, because if we had this kind of thing on Reggae Sunsplash, it would not take away from the crowd, because Reggae Sunsplash was an event. It was a family event.
Yeah,
From all the years I'm going to Reggae Sunsplash, never once ever hear anyone say who is on the Sunsplash.
yeah,
They never said that. Nowadays, the concerts in Jamaica that are being kept, the first thing you ask, who's on the show?
yeah, yeah.
And something like Reggae Sunsplash to be streamed live, it would not take away any of the crowd that would come there. If it was for people who couldn't make it or can't
Right.
make it,
No,
to,
it
to,
would boost the crowd the next year in the way that the tours,
exactly,
will
exactly.
be expanded with the tours. Is the wider we made the market for people coming annually to the festival in Jamaica. It would basically do the same thing. It would be used to promote the event here in Jamaica. And that's the beautiful aspect of it.
Oh, I'm telling you, it's so true. And but when we look at the artists that used to come on Sunsplash, as I said, we never really ask. But nowadays, people are asking on the concerts that you have in Jamaica. People are asking who's the artist. What is happening with the music in the artists today? They're not showing creativity in their work. They're not putting out anything new. Some of them are putting out vulgar songs, and but what is happening with the music?
You know, um, from where I sit, there is a lot of good music being produced here in Jamaica. However, our media landscape, well, while the number of media houses has significantly expanded, I think we have like 25 radio stations now.
I remember when there was one.
Yeah, yeah, right. Unfortunately, the the music programs um, have restricted the type of music they play to a very narrow band. You
Okay.
know, it's now almost exclusively dancehall, except for three or four stations that will give you a wider playlist.
Hmm.
And it is because Paola has unfortunately begun to play such an overpowering role in local media.
But it's not
Even I
illegal.
have to travel. I have to travel. And when I'm abroad, I hear better Jamaican music being played in the airplane, in the hotels, in the restaurants,
Okay.
on radio. Then I hear in Jamaica many times I have to say, gee, who is that? Did so and so release and put out a new release? Because you're not hearing them on air in Jamaica. And so that is unfortunate. But I wouldn't say that good music is, so I wouldn't say good music is not being produced.
Okay.
It's much more difficult to get airplay.
Okay. Yeah, that's the key because a lot of I remember when Rocksteady was out. They never used to get airplay. They used to hear them on the jukebox.
Yes, yes,
Because a man
yes.
wanted that thing to play it, and a lot of them never respected the music, the reggae music. And
True.
and
I mean, there was a time where that is how the music became popular, either through the jukebox or through the sound system.
right, right, right. You're wondering if that is the same. That's going to happen now. We
Well,
come right back
peop-
to 360.
even the dances, even the size of the dances have shrunk in Jamaica. And I think the misguided Noise Abatement Act that was passed in 2005 has a lot to do with that. It was a reactionary move by the government then in response to an outcry that had merit. Um, but you can't just impose a noise abatement act without also doing some urban planning and identify areas for the music to flourish.
All right.
Furthermore, the whole act has been manipulated by the police, who should never have been given the power to approve permission on the Noise Abatement Act. In most other jurisdictions, that power resides with the local authority. Uh, so the police now, when you go to them for permission, they tell you, well, you have to hire a policeman, and so you just increase the overheads
Oh
unnecessarily,
yes.
right?
Oh yes, definitely.
Anyway, so the the dances have been reduced, stage shows have been reduced. Um, we are suffering like everybody else in the world from a recession, which we can't even define as such because it has really been a long time that the economy in Jamaica has not grown substantially. Uh, and somehow there seems to be a prejudice against the very asset that we have that could help us out of this recession. We need to better market our music, which is the implication from the question you asked earlier. Um, we need better mechanisms for marketing our music. Like I said, we need to create some incentives for large investments to come into the sector. Because the days of the big record companies back in Jamaicans have gone. These record companies now are back in Europeans and Japanese who are doing reggae.
Okay, yeah, true.
And so we need an aggregator that can, pull together um, a large amount of artist music and promote it as 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 most record companies used to do back in the 80s and the early 90s. We need some investment in the sector to see it transform now into a full-fledged industry.
So you don't think private investors are interested?
That's why I say the sector needs some incentives
Hmm.
because private sector people don't see professionalism that you and I have. They're looking at what rate of return and how fast can I get
True. How fast? That's the key for them,
so we have to create incentives. If we really believe that we want to culture, if you pardon the pun, this industry, then just like just like how you are encouraging tourism or manufacturing, you provide incentives to bring investment into the sector. The same thing now needs to be done for our Jamaican music.
True. True.
Um, and when I make this statement publicly, the response I get from people is, but you have enough artists with enough money, why aren't they investing? Well, guess what? The artists are investing, but they invest in setting up their studio and they invest in their careers because we don't have a Berry Gordy,
Hmm.
and you and I know that whereas Bob Marley has great talent, if there wasn't a Chris Blackwell,
Yep.
the world may never have been introduced to Bob Marley.
Well, that's true. Yep.
And significant investments over a significant period of time before he started seeing the return. We need that kind of venture capital to give the industry a boost because there is no question almost every reggae hit almost every festival has a Jamaican, or if it's not a token, has a Jamaican input. So, luckily for us, there is still that vibe. There is still something about a Jamaican musician or a Jamaican event that has that competitive edge. And we really need to be working on that.
What's the biggest event down there now? Like you say, you would people from abroad would come to.
Um, Rebel Salute.
Yes, I've heard. I've never been
I
to
think
one, but I've
highly
heard it's been
underrated over
growing.
the years,
Yeah.
but I think it's the single biggest event annually on the live music calendar. Um, I think that stands heads and shoulders above the others.
Okay.
Um, some did feature a larger percentage of reggae acts this year for the first in a long while. So it's a local event, but
I hear it moved.
they really don't do a lot of reggae. They do dance hall and hip hop, really.
Oh, so most of just today's artists, they don't have much of the artists of the 60s, 70s.
Traditionally, they don't, but like because of the 50th anniversary of independence this year, they did feature a night with a lot of our standard reggae acts, and I'm hoping that they did well um, from a business standpoint, and they might consider doing more of our standard reggae acts annually. Interestingly enough, Jazz and Blues did a similar thing this year too, paying tribute to our reggae artists in the 50th year. And I was there, and they seem to have gotten a fair sized crowd. So let's see if they have a higher percentage of reggae acts on Jazz and Blues going forward.
Yeah, I said reggae needs a little revamp. I don't know if it's the music, if it's the artists, if it's the production, what or is a combination of all, But
We need a couple. We need a couple. We need another superstar. I mean, tough Junior Gong
hmm
is really out there carrying our flag.
okay,
But we need a couple other breakout artists like Junior Gong, um, that will create that resurgence that you refer to, that renaissance, so to speak, that you're referring to. And I agree with you there. Um,
but
but we can't do that. We have to see Jamaica as the factory, and we have to be promoting our music and our artists more. I
yeah,
mean,
but
where
then
would
again,
Guyana be if Barbados didn't finance our first two tours?
hmm but then again, Charles, you promote them and all of that, but a lot of these artists, they're not consistent, and they put out a song, it don't last after 3 months. Hey, you get tired,
Yeah.
you know.
Um,
It's not consistent. It doesn't have a longevity.
um, yeah. You see, Dreamy, again, that's what you are hearing from the mainstream media. Um, there are groups here like Raging Fire, Blueprint, Dub Tonic Crew. I can, and the list goes on and on. There are some groups, Pentatouche, who are doing excellent music, real good lyrics, good music, good clean music, real instrumentation, which is the direction that Europe is again going in.
Right.
Live instrumentation. It's just not being given the exposure here. But Um, and so the problem we face again is our local media dreaming.
Mm-hmm.
Here is what happened. Jamaica is a very small market. What our artists do is they put out a song to get the next live show.
Okay.
You remember there was a time where you toured to promote your album.
Right.
The tables have turned. Now you put out a song to look for the next booking from a promoter. So the the charts are manipulated because you get to the top of the charts and nobody see any real significant sales. But then you have the right contacts to get the chart manipulated, and then you can use that and say, look, promoter, have the number one song on 5 or 6 radio stations, so I deserve a slot on your show.
But isn't there a law
Now,
against all of that,
that
no?
doesn't help us internationally.
No.
So, Barry's just put out an album. I think maybe it's what, 3, 4 years since Barry's last release one. Um, but it's only people like Barry Hammond who understand the longevity of a career and how to build and allow a music to gel in the marketplace and build, um, that you have taking that approach. The approach, the run-of-the-mill approach now is, like I say, to put out a song a day.
Ridiculous.
And so after 3 months, yes.
Yes.
I mean, there
Good.
are so many releases coming out that after 3 months that become oldies.
Right? And so many, and they put it up for 3 different producers too.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
But I
yeah.
tell we have to do something about it. And well, you're down there, you're in the heart of things. I know you're doing your stuff with your organization, and I just hope you get the help that you need down there.
There, we can't leave the business like it is. We the ones who got it going, or the younger ones, um, they deserve better. It's time for us to get our act together and get the thing properly organized. Um, and so, like you said, the Jamaica Reggae Industry Association is trying to get the industry united around a common set of goals. Um, the new Ministry of Tourism and Entertainment have set up an entertainment advisory board too, and they are looking at some critical issues. Um, I happen to be a member of the board, and there is in fact a retreat on Monday looking at some critical issues like very noise abatement we're talking about, the Entertainment Encouragement Act, which has been languishing in Parliament for over 20 years. Um, Looking at issues like visa, um,
Issues.
travel issues,
Yes, right.
a number of other issues concerning the industry. I am hoping that we see some progress through this advisory board. Um, and then we have had some meetings with the new Minister of Information, with the Broadcasting Commission, and they have agreed to most of our proposals about amending the Broadcast Commission Act, which would deal a death knell to payola. It would require for radio stations to again establish a library. It doesn't have to be a physical library. It's these days it can be a virtual library, as you know. And also to establish again the standard of having playlists. And this way, one can monitor how many times a song is played and whether that bears out in the marketplace. And so you get red flags coming up if some kind of chicanery is happening.
Mm.
So there are positive moves. Um, I, I tend to be a little bit cynical because, for example, the Entertainment Act, we've been working on it for 20 years and somehow it just can't get legislated. I hope now the political will exist
Mm-hmm.
and we will see some progress on those fronts.
Well, let's hope so. That we can do something to enhance the whole music. Because it's really payola is illegal, right? In
It's
Jamaica,
not.
it's not.
No.
And
It's about to become illegal.
oh, I thought it was.
Technically, it is not illegal as of now in Jamaica.
Okay, okay. But many of artists, many of big, and not artists, many of DJs in the United States have gone to jail for that.
Yeah, and we need to go that route.
Yeah, man, definitely,
Go
definitely.
that route.
I just really hope that can be passed. You know, that has to be done on a parliamentary level.
That's correct. And the Minister of Information has promised us that she will see that legislation through to enactment into law within the 50th year of our independence. So I cross my fingers, my toes,
Everything else.
and hope that,
Uh,
we see progress on this front. Because, it would transform our media landscape. And what is more is it would expose the kind of music that you are saying you are not hearing.
right.
And then many people make the presumption that because we're not hearing it, it's not being produced. Um, but the artists give me their CDs to listen to, and so I know that there are great songs being produced in Jamaica. They're just not being given their fair chance.
Well, anytime you're ready, as I said, we can do anything. You want to bring one of those artists to a studio, we can bring them in live to show the people them what they're not hearing, because you can't. There's no jukebox anymore. There's no sound system no more. So how are we gonna hear the good music?
Dreamy, I'm going to take you up on that.
Okay, not a problem. I'm ready.
Because there are some young groups around and young artists around who just need that exposure, and we might yet see our next Junior Gong or even Bob Marley. There are some young youths around who are doing fantastic music.
Boy, I haven't heard, because on our on Irish Times we play music from the 60s, 70s, and 80s and 90s. Anything in it after that is kind of hey, you know. Hey.
All right. Well, I am going to. I almost said I'm going to change that. I'm going to start sending you some music,
Okay.
and I know that you are going to change that.
All right. All right. I'll give it to my DJs, them Ron Burke and Mark Swaby and the rest of the guys.
Yeah, man.
Because they're the pro on that. Even though I listen to it, I gotta like it. You have to feel the music. If you can't feel it, it don't make sense. You know.
Yeah.
But take me up on my offer. As I said, anytime, Irish Times is here. And I'd like to thank you, Charles, for joining Irish Times, for being here.
Oh, it's a wonderful discussion. Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, we'll have to do this again sometimes. And as I said, we can bring in other people from anywhere they are. I run a Burke down there in wherever he is.
Yeah, he and I were on radio yesterday for an hour.
Oh
on
man,
Hot 102.
love
Yeah.
to talk to him too. And
I
there's
will
Don
pass
Green
on
in
the
New
message.
York. We can bring all of these guys and we talk about the music.
Sure.
I'm going to touch base with Ronnie. Just tell him to touch base with me if he can too, so we can get to talk with him.
I will do, I promise you.
All right, sir. So thank you again.
One love.
And we'll talk again.
Yeah, man. One love dreaming.
All right then, Charles. Thanks a lot.
It was great talking to you. Bye.
You too. All right. Wow. Charles Campbell coming to you live from Jamaica, in St. Elizabeth, Jamaica. He was part of Reggae Sunsplash. He's in charge of Gyra, to preserve the reggae music, in Jamaica, for Jamaica. I'm glad to have people like that on board, have your back, As I said, hope to get Mr. Ronnie Burke from Reggae Sunsplash on coming up later this month. I'll touch base with him. Next week, we have Sadiqa Diram from CVM. She will be my guest next week. So look out for that. Okay. I'd like to thank you all for joining me. Now we're going to go to the movies. Take it back to the 70s. The Kung Fu movies. The Bruce Lee, Jet Li, and Wang Yu. So today it's going to be Eagle versus Silver Fox. No, Rude Run. No kicking, okay? No kicking. Just sit back and relax. Get your popcorn and get your Kelly's Coca-Cola champagne and have a great time watching the movie.